In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Zotero and a couple of add-ons to make your reference management super easy. As you saw in the last video, the workflow we're setting up here makes it incredibly easy to refer to sources and spend as little time as possible on the export formatting your sources and bibliographies. Again, why Zotero? It's free. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. It's very extensible and works great with Rome. And as you saw with the Zotero connector, it makes adding new sources incredibly simple. It's really just one click of a button. Here are the relevant links. I'm going to show you these at the end of the video again as well, and you'll have them under this video as direct links. We're going to be installing Zotero, BetterBibTex, and Zotfile. And so let's simply get into it. This is the Zotero website. You click download, it will automatically download the right version for your operating system, and you follow the instructions for that, and you should be good to go. Once you've done that, you'll see this screen. This is what you see the first time you open up Zotero, and I'll walk you through the process of setting up the connector. So you download the connector. Here I'm downloading it for Google Chrome. I add it to Chrome. I have to hit add extension, and then in the upper right I have to click on that little icon so I can pin the Zotero connector to the side of the address bar. It went over really quickly, but there was also a little note here on the shortcut, which you can see here. If you hit Command-Shift-S, you don't have to click that button to collect a source. It will do that then based on that shortcut, but I'm going to show you that here next. And here we're now on the Google Scholar page, and I'm going to search for a couple of texts here. This is from important authors in political science, designing social inquiry, 12,000 citations, as you can see, kinda important here from a methods standpoint. And you saw I clicked the icon in the upper right, saved that information. Same here, King, Penn, and Roberts, super interesting paper on censorship, just to get the flow. Here I hit the shortcut, and Albert Einstein, we can take something from him as well. Let's pick the theory of relativity, and we'll click the connector icon again, select the source we want. You can obviously select multiple sources as well, and that's getting saved to the Zotero library, and this is all the sources now you have in there. What you see we don't have here yet that you saw me use earlier is the site key, right? In the last video, I showed you the site key for each of these sources, and in that example, that site key was already generated by Zotero for us. But to make that happen, we have to install the BetterBibTex extension. So let's do that. This is the website for it. Again, it's linked under this video. You click simply on latest release, and then you download the XPI file. That's going to take a couple of seconds. And in that time, you can head back over to Zotero, and then in the menu bar to Tools and Add-ons, where you then click on Install Add-on from File. You pick that from your downloads folder, click open. You have to say that you trust this, you can trust it, and then you restart Zotero, on the first open, it's going to tell you I have some new stuff here and it needs to restart again. So you simply click restart now, and now when you open it, you see it's already having on the right side, there's a side key column, and it creates these. What we want to do is export the library so that we can use it later when we compile our references. For that, we're picking the BetterBibTex format and click OK. And I'm going to put it in my downloads folder simply for convenience here. Call it my library. It's nothing important here. You obviously put it into a location on your computer that makes sense. And if you open it up, this is how BibTeX files look. Not super important, but you see we have our 3 sources in there. Now, we do want to adjust a couple of settings. One thing I like is to have the citation key format set up like this, as you saw in the previous video. So the author's name in lowercase, then the year, and then just the very first word of the title that isn't the or a, and use that as the side key. You can completely edit this to your liking. There's a reference for how to do this on the BetterBibTeX site. You want to keep the keys unique across all your libraries. And for me, quick copy, drag and drop citations, I like Pandoc. On the export page, you shouldn't need to adjust too much. I think this is all the way it always looks like and should look like. Automatic export on change, we're going to see that work in a minute. So keep that on change, make sure that is what's selected. And then for here, the data directory location, you can take a note of that now already. We're going to use that in the future. So just so you know where that is, that depends obviously on your computer system. We're going to talk about these translators in a future video, just so you've seen that once already. Good, let's do the keep updated part here. So when we exported the library the last time, we didn't check this box keep updated. So we did a one-time export of our library. This time we're going to keep it updated, and I'm still going to keep it. Actually, no, let me put it into a more permanent location like you would do. I'm going to call this references.bib. Bib is the file extension that the file will have. You don't have to actually type it in. And now if we look at that file, all of these 3 sources, of course, are going to be in there as they were previously, right? This is what we had earlier in the library, my library file as well. So to show you how the keep updated thing works, I'm going to look at Robert Sapolsky's work again. This time we're going to import Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers with the familiar connector process, and that gets added to the Zotero library. As you can see on the right, you see the citation key, Sapolsky 2004Y. And now if we look into the Bib file, you see it has been added. And that's very good, because for when we want to compile things to Word files, that is going to rely on that .bib file. And here you see where you saved it. Output file is in documents references.bib. And every time you save something to your Zotero library, that's going to get updated and will be ready for you to use in your workflow. Good. The final thing we're going to install here is Zotfile. As always, you're also going to download the file and then click Install Add-on from File. And this is what you then pick from the picker here. Again, you have to confirm, then restart Zotero. And Zotfile will take care of managing your PDFs for you. So if you have a source in Zotero, you can simply drag and drop the file onto that source, and Zotfile will manage it for you. And Zotfile can also export annotations from these PDFs for you. For Zotfile, I also like to look at the preferences. Let me see where they right, they have them here under Tools, Zotfile Preferences, and here you can designate a folder that always attaches files automatically. I don't trust that really, so it's empty. What I do want is a custom location where Zotfile will sort the PDFs to, right? So I don't want to manage my PDF files manually. I'm going to, in Documents, make a new folder, call it Papers, and that's where Zotfile will put all my papers. I like a subfolder structure defined just by the author's name, but again, you can use the default or look at the references for how to set it up to your taste. Doesn't matter at all. I also like to name the files after their site key. This is what the %B is for. So if you have BibTeX installed, BetterBibTeX, then Zotfile can use that as an argument and call the file a PDF for the Sapolsky thing, for example, Sapolsky 2004 how.pdf. And the additional settings here, again, these are my preferences. I found those very useful. I only want one author there. I don't want at all mentioned and that sort of thing. But again, this is taste and preference, so you're perfectly free to choose whatever you want here. And I think those are the preferences I would want to set. And with that, we're finished installing Zotfile. Good, that was basically it. Feel free to rewatch and rewind and use this video as a reference for how to install it. Again, here's the relevant links. You need Zotero, BetterBibTeX, and Zotfile, and then you're on the reference management side completely set up for the workflow that I demoed in the last video. We're now going to move on to Roam Research. I'm going to show you how Roam Research works. I'm going to then show you how to get information from Zotero into Roam Research. Then we'll talk a little bit about processing your notes and informations. And at the end, we'll put a little bow around the whole thing and take what we've then written in Roam and export it with a nicely formatted bibliography without any further interaction on our part, and get a Word or PDF file out of it, as you saw me do in the previous video. So that's everything on reference management, and now we'll head into Roam.